happy wife, happy life. What's the better saying? What's the good one?
Happy spouse, happy house.
Happy spouse, happy house. That's it.
You teach more than punches and kicks.
So we teach more than punches and kicks. That's true. So for you guys that don't know, I'm Sensei Luis Galdino, former UFC fighter. I teach out in our Hoboken location. This is my student, Christian McCauley. When you were 10, maybe 9
10
or
or
10?
11.
10 or 11 when I took over. So you obviously were a black belt already. You were trained for a couple of years. I don't even know, how old were you when you got started, and why did you get started and all that stuff?
I started when I was 5 years old. My mom put me in because I was a pain in the ass in school. No, you didn't know that?
No.
I was a pain in the ass in school.
I could not see that.
I was smart. I would always finish my work. I would always finish it first, but then I would bother the other kids. I would just get bored. So I couldn't just sit there and not do anything. So I would bother the other kids. So the teacher, one of the parent-teacher conferences, my teacher told my mom she had to put me in something that would give me discipline, like teach me self-discipline. She was a realtor. She worked at, I think it was Remax. It was right down the...
On Washington Street.
Yep, right on Washington Street, right by the Tiger Schulmann school. So she went there one Sunday, and then the rest is history.
So you started training first.
Then
your dad.
No. Then my cousin Bobby.
Bobby started training.
He was wrestling, so that's why he kind of started getting into it. He started doing grappling and stuff like that. Then my dad started doing it because he became diabetic, and then my little brother was just born into it, and then eventually my mom started training a little bit here and there as well.
So how old are you now? 22?
I'll be 23 this Sunday.
And Matthew's
15.
15.
He'll be 16.
So you were training before Matthew ever came along.
Yeah.
So Matthew literally
he was
grew up in the school.
He was 2.5 when he started doing Cubs.
He was 2.5 because he was probably 5 when I started. When I started in Hoboken, and so Matthew doesn't know anything besides martial arts.
Yep.
He literally grew up in it. All right, that's cool. And how was that? Like you training with your dad and you know your cousin Bobby and Matthew, you guys all doing the same thing together.
It's good.
Keeping you motivated.
Oh yeah, 100%. Bobby was kind of the reason why, like, I wanted to start fighting in the first place. Like when I was 13, 14, he would bring me up here to train during the summer, and I would see him training for his fights, and you know it was kind of like something that I saw him do that I wanted to do as well.
Right.
And then once I started training every day, that was kind of where my love for fighting started to come in, was from watching him train and stuff like that. And I kind of see, I mean, I can't speak for Matthew, but I kind of see him.
I see the same thing, Matthew, now with you. Yeah, I see it.
It's kind of like a full
He's training with
circle.
your dad extra and stuff. Yep. But you had an amateur fight when you were
17.
17?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got real serious with it.
First one was a rough one.
So what happened there? Was it like you didn't take the fight seriously? Did something click that you were like, oh, this is fun. It would have been more fun if I would have knocked the guy out?
Well, I feel like they were trying to find me a fight like since I was like 15 years old.
Right.
And, like, they weren't really fighting a lot of fights for like teenagers. So like they would say, oh, maybe we have something, and like nothing would happen. And then so I would train a lot, and then there was nothing. So I would just stop training. When they told me I had an opponent, it was like 2 weeks out from the fight, and I hadn't trained in 2 weeks. I was eating like shit. I was probably like 163, 162, and the fight was at 140.
You were skinny in that fight. That picture popped up on my Facebook
God. I looked dead.
Yeah.
I looked like a zombie. And they did the weigh-ins late. They always do that same day weigh-ins. They say it starts at 5 o'clock, and they start at like 5:45, 6.
Yeah.
It's like, so then I felt like complete dog shit. Like my cardio is nowhere near what it is now. You know what I mean?
So it's not that you weren't taking it serious. You just weren't taking it serious because you couldn't get a fight and you were getting frustrated.
Basically, because I was like, this, why am I gonna bust my ass and not have anything?
So I know when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, Chiantrelli was fighting at the time, and we would drive, like one time we drove like 8 hours into Ohio, and that was 95, maybe 96, 97. I mean, there was no rules. Knees on the ground to the face, like crazy stuff. And that kind of, inspired me. Like I saw my sensei fighting and all that stuff. Did you feel like that, watching me fight? Was it like,
100%.
oh, my sensei's in the UFC?
That, and even more now, the fact that I have a daughter, and I had a daughter at a young age, you had a daughter at a young age. It's kind of like, and everyone that we train with says the same thing. Like, I'm like, You're mini. I'm
Mini
like,
me, but
yeah,
taller.
mini you. Yep. It's basically like the same life trajectory, like having a kid at a young age and trying to balance work life, family life, fighting, and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So even now, I look back at it and I'm like, not copying, but like
Right, I know
following
what you
like
mean.
certain steps and stuff like that.
I know what you mean.
Like I look at
I
you
think
like
you started a little younger than me, though.
I did.
You did.
But I look at you, I'm like, oh, he did it. I could do it. Like,
Oh,
so
thank you.
that was also one of the reasons, kind of like why I had dropped out of school, where I was like, well, he could do it. Like, why can't I do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wasted a lot of time in school. I don't use my degree for anything. Criminal justice.
Although you're good at math.
I'm good at math. But I've always been good at math.
Better than I am.
Surprisingly. But what is that like? Like the other day we were talking and I told you a story with Lucas. He was filming something around, the property, like my area. And he's like, this is my dad. He's always going to work. And I was like, oh, man, that breaks my heart.
It's rough.
And you were telling me, so what happened the other day with me when you were going to training?
I was getting ready to train. I'm getting ready for a fight, so I had to go to training. And then sure enough, she's like, where are you going? And I'm like, Daddy's had to go train. She's like, no, stay with us. And it's like, you want to come with me? And she's like, yeah. And then Maria's like, she's not even showered. Like you're about to go to.
So
like,
she couldn't come with you.
Yeah, she couldn't come with.
I used to bring Ari here when she was little.
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah.
And I brought Mimi here. She's a great listener.
No, she'll sit there. She'll watch the class. She eats her snacks, all that. She's good. Ari was the same way. Lucas would be hanging from the ceiling, so that wasn't an option with him.
Well, just like I said, Matthew grew up in this. She's 100% grown up. Like she was 1 month old, and I was teaching class with her in the
bouncy thing.
Yeah, the harness or the whatever, the carrier. I was teaching class with her in the carrier.
It's the same thing. Remember when Edez was little? When he was chunky?
Mm-hmm.
I would hold him, put him down, explain a move, hold him again while Venom and Ron were training. But Mimi's like your biggest fan. So we have a video. Let me see which one I have here. You know what? I'm just gonna pull it up on my phone because I actually have volume on that. I don't know why that's not working. Let's see here. So this is the first one. What was that? What did she say?
I don't know if she's saying distract him or striking him.
Because you speak Mimi. Keep distracting him. So this was your last fight?
That was my first MMA title fight in December.
Okay. And she's literally in the front row.
Yes.
All your fights. Yes. This is after you win.
That was while I was walking out.
Okay, so this is as you're walking out.
That gives me goosebumps. Like when I see like that.
How happy she is. Knee kick.
Yep.
So like after the fight, you got a little black eye or something, a little scratch. What does she say?
She surprisingly takes it well. Like I think she takes it better than most kids would, who don't see their father training all the time and fighting all the time.
Right.
Like she was like
she's only 3 too.
Yeah, but she was like ooh, you have a boo boo, but she wasn't crying.
Right.
I was happy that she took it well. Like I would have broken down in tears if she like started crying and stuff like that. That I had like bruises and stuff all over my face. She took it well. But then, funny story, my last fight, I had blood coming out of my nose. There was no napkins around.
Right.
So Maria took one of her extra pants that she had.
Mimi's pants?
Yeah, wipes my nose, and then Mimi's like, man, now I got blood on my pants. Like didn't care at all that I was bleeding. But she's like, I got blood on my pants now.
Now her pants are messed up. She didn't care about it.
Now she can't wear it.
I remember one of my fights, black eye, busted lip or something, and it was one of the fights I didn't win. So I'm in the back, I'm obviously down, I'm upset, and I'm talking to Tiger, and I'm just like, I gotta go home, and my daughter's gonna look at me. I was probably maybe 4 or 5 at the time, again, still young, and I'm like, look at my face, man, I'm all messed up. It's gonna be worse in 2 days when I see her, what am I gonna say? And he's always quick with it. He's like, you tell her it hurts a little bit, but this hurts more. and daddy's got to train even harder, and I'm going to go fight again and all that. So it's good that, she sees that. You obviously haven't lost, but, it's good that you set the example for your daughter and stuff like that. Like, anything that you want in life, you're leaving to training. Sometimes she sees you hitting the bag at night. You're running extra. She sees how hard daddy works for this, whether she wants to fight one day or she wants to, be an engineer or a doctor. She's going to have her own struggles. You're getting emotional right now. I see that.
Yeah.
And she's going to see your struggle, and you're setting the example. So.
Well, you're talking about her getting older. I'm not ready for her to get older.
They grow up quick, man. You saw the Jordan Peterson sound effect for the reel. Like, you only have a little kid.
First 4
years.
Of life.
Oh man, it's so true.
She's about to be 4 in December.
She's about to be 4. Time
I
flies.
can't believe Lucas is about to be 8, right?
Lucas is gonna be 8. Jackson
God.
just turned 4. I have a 14-year-old going into high school. Before you know it, Mimi's gonna be in high school. So
I can't. When she starts going to school.
Who?
Mimi.
Mimi?
Yeah. I'm not ready to deal with school drama.
School drama.
And girl drama.
Well, it's girl drama.
Yeah.
Because the boys will get physical and be rough and stuff. The girl stuff is catty.
Yeah.
Usually. But I don't think she'll
25.
she'll just hit somebody. I can see her just hitting somebody.
Well, you've seen her now, where she's like, if somebody bullies me, I'll punch him in the face. Which I'd rather her be like that than.
I'd rather her do too much than nothing at all. Yeah. Because then they won't bother her again.
Yeah, it's easy to teach someone to pull it back a little bit than to.
Than to push them to overcome that fear. Yes, very true. So
she gets that from Maria.
Oh, 100%. So what do you like to do outside of, I don't even know if you do anything outside of training and fighting working and, like, what do you do with your family? Go to the park?
There's only one thing I do is that
I know.
Eat. It's eat. If I wasn't fighting, I would be a diabetic. I'd be hundreds and hundreds of pounds.
So when you're 35, 40, 45 and you're retired.
I'm gonna try my best to not get fat as but I say that after every fight, and then somehow I end up putting a little bit of.
But all the weight goes to your face right away. Your body will look the same. It all goes to your cheeks.
And
you
my head
like
just looks huge.
Yeah.
But that's also the first thing that goes. The weight goes to my cheeks first, but my cheeks also lose it first.
You remind me a lot of Shane, because I feel like Shane's the same way. Like, after his fight, you'll look at his Instagram. And
it's just food,
and it's just food. Lunch on Saturday, dinner on Saturday, lunch on Sunday.
Yep.
Oh, I can't wait to go to this restaurant.
Well,
and he says he has it picked out.
Oh yeah, I have the same thing. Like after every one of my fights, me, Maria, and Mia, maybe sometimes I bring Matthew and stuff like that.
You have certain places.
We'll go to like New York City and we'll just hit every single spot. We won't get a big thing from a place.
Right.
We'll get a bunch of little stuff and we'll share it.
And
just
you'll
so
try a little bit at all different restaurants.
And I'll just get huge.
So you just wait for that. That's what you're looking forward to after the fight.
Yes. Well, 100%. When I'm in the back, I'm like, oh, I can't wait till after this fight. Like, I'm literally not even thinking about the fight. I'm like,
You do bring cookies. You do bring cookies and stuff.
I bring
to the
cookies,
fight.
brownies, everything.
That you have after the fight.
After the fight.
So aspiring fighters, you don't want to weigh in and then eat all that junk food and then go fight. Wait an extra day, or if it's the same day weigh-ins, you wait an extra 6 hours, and then you can enjoy your goodies.
And thanks to your mistakes and all the other fighters' mistakes, I've never done that.
You learn from it.
Although Julio told me the story where he had chicken parm at the Capital right after weighing in, like a whole chicken parm sandwich.
And what happened?
And fought like 2 hours later.
And he
was
just
like,
felt
like throwing up.
I literally weighed in and then I just ate a bunch of food at Carmine's and I couldn't even like reach. I'm like, ugh. I couldn't reach for the glass of water.
You have to control yourself.
Yes.
Even eating like not jugging a gallon of water, like not
water,
drinking
the
it super quick.
Pedialyte, or eating the fruit.
Yep.
You got to go slow. Have you ever messed that up? Were you throwing up?
No.
Oh, okay. So that's good.
I cut weight once. Did I tell you this story? Where I was a little bit overweight, so I went to like a sauna studio or something like that by myself. Stupid idea. And I sat in the sauna. I had no idea how to do it. Didn't ask you. Didn't tell you. I sat in the sauna for like 45 minutes to an hour, and then I got up, and I'm like
dizzy.
Yeah, I'm dizzy. I'm like, oh no, I gotta lay down. And I'm laying down with my eyes closed. I'm like, I have to get up soon because if the lady walks in, she sees me like this in my underwear, she's gonna call the ambulance or something like that. I'm not gonna be able to fight. I'm like, I gotta get up. I'm like, all right. So I start getting up, and I'm like, I get in the car, I start driving, I get home, and then I was a little bit underweight, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have like a banana or like a peanut butter sandwich, and then right away I had to use the bathroom. Like I didn't have to throw up, I had the runs though.
Right.
And
your body couldn't handle it. Well, back in the day when we fought at ROC, Jimmy and Pace were fighting, and we met at headquarters, and I would drive down, and I'm literally in my underwear with the heat blasting, and they're in sauna suits, they're covered in Albolene, and this is on the way to get them to the sauna, and I'm in there I have a Slurpee, and they're just dying.
Well, my last fight
And this is in the summer. The heat's on in the summer.
my last fight when we were cutting weight, I was a little bit over. We were hoping I would float it and stuff like that. I went in the car, threw a jacket on, threw my sweater on, threw a hat on, had gloves. I was laying back because I was super tired, and I'm just cranking the heat up. I wake up like halfway there. I see my dad, and there's just sweat dripping down. He has the window cracked open just a little. I'm like, close the window. He goes. And I'm just.
Then you went back to sleep and put the window down a little bit.
Probably.
So we got a couple big fights coming up. Julio, do you know when Julio's fighting?
Not this weekend. Next weekend, April 9th.
Oh, so it's coming up quick.
That's another thing besides food is like when it comes to like fighting and stuff. Like I know like.
Oh, you're on point.
Yeah,
with that.
I'm on point.
So Julio's fighting April 9th.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it?
Florida, Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, Florida. And who's he fighting?
That I don't know. He's Brazilian though.
Daniel Santos. Not too familiar with the guy.
Although it doesn't really matter like when Julio fights, it doesn't really matter like whether I know the person or I don't. I always expect like Julio to win. Like out of everybody that I spar, like you know, Jimmy, Shane.
He's a pain in the ass.
He's the worst person to fight. I'd rather fight Jimmy and Shane back to back, and let them beat the shit out of me than fight Julio. Cause like with them, and no offense to them, right? Like, but I can hit them. Like,
so they'll win the round.
Yes,
they might beat your ass, but with Julio, it's like embarrassing.
Yes, like he's hitting me, maybe even less than they're hitting me, but I can't hit him.
Right.
So it's just more frustrating.
He's not
and
there.
And it just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah,
like,
cardio.
Now I don't know if it's if he has like really good defense, or it's the fact that he's a lefty, so it just makes it more awkward.
A little bit both, maybe.
But he's a pain in the ass to spar.
Cardio
I love sparring him, but I fucking hate sparring him. I told you I'd rather fight Jimmy and Shane and Triz, and I'd rather get fucked up by them than go with Julio.
Sterling versus Jan. What's your take on that?
Peter Yan wins.
How?
Late finish or decision.
Late finish or
late
now
TKO or decision.
Do you give Sterling a chance, or no? Like
no.
If Sterling won, would you be like, oh my god?
I would be 100% surprised. I don't think
even based on their last fight with Sterling winning the first couple of rounds and then tiring out. Like you don't think if his cardio comes good?
I still don't think he's gonna be able to keep up that pace.
That pace for that long.
Yeah.
Because the first two rounds.
Well, again, first round, the crazy thing is like he was winning the first round, but then he got caught. He got dropped.
Right.
So you automatically have to give it to.
But I mean, that fight was over a year ago. But I feel like the first two rounds, besides that, Sterling was putting it on him.
Mm-hmm.
He was looking good.
Yeah.
But again, he couldn't keep up the pace.
Speaking of defense, Peter Yan's defense is incredible. Like the way he's able to just stay in the pocket.
So I feel like the first two rounds, Sterling was winning. Besides he got dropped. Actually, forgot about that. But if he can keep up that pace, but you don't think he can keep up?
I don't think he'll be. And if he might not get as tired, but it won't be as high as a pace as he's gonna put on in the first round.
Right.
And if it's not that high of a pace, Jan's gonna pick him apart.
Pick him apart.
Like he'll have to keep this high of a pace in order to beat Jan standing. He's not gonna be able to keep that pace all 5 rounds. His pace might come here, but even if it comes to here, Jan's gonna be able to outstrike
And you don't
him.
think he could take Jan down?
He wasn't able to take him down in the first fight. I don't think he was able to take him down in the second.
That's true.
Jan's got really good. He's good all around.
Yeah, he's good all around.
I would love to see him fight TJ. That would be a great fight.
That's the next fight, probably, right? Because TJ beat Sandhagen. Sandhagen already fought Jan, lost.
That was a good fight.
So, I mean, who's next besides TJ for either one of them? If either one of them wins, who could you make a case for next?
Well, you have Aldo just waiting.
Who?
Jose Aldo. He's just waiting.
But who did he just fight?
He just beat Rob Font.
But who did he fight before that?
Pedro.
Now.
And then he beat
But Jan already beat him. So
Aldo,
I guess if Sterling wins, it can kind of push Aldo in the front. And then
I guess it all
when
depends
does TJ come back?
Yeah, it all depends on how TJ's healing up.
When did TJ fight? June?
July.
It was in the summer, right? It was in the summer. ACL? No.
It was everything but his ACL.
So that's not as bad.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's everything, right?
Yeah.
So it's still going to take longer to heal. But I mean, I saw him on Instagram. He's doing stuff now. I don't know if he's doing, jiu-jitsu and wrestling and MMA, but he's working out. So.
And it's crazy that he won that fight with everything torn and the cut on his eye.
And that happened in the first round, right? His knee injury.
His knee in the first round, and then his eye was like the second round, I think, like something like it was super early.
Right.
You ever been cut?
Little ones, like here.
But not like.
My nose was cut bad, but nothing on the eye where there's blood
Dripping in your eye.
getting in your eye. And I think if you're cut and it's not going in your eye, it's not going to affect you. Like if your adrenaline's up and you got a big gash, and as long as it's not going in your eye, I don't think it's going to affect you. It's when it's above the eye and it's going
going into your eye.
Yeah. I guess if it's here and then you're on the bottom in guard or something, it rolls around. In my fights against the Ultimate Fighter, I didn't know, but after the fight I watched, took the guy down, I'm on top in half guard, and he wipes his nose and then just wipes his hands on my back. Just like, but it's his own blood. Why are you wiping on me?
Yeah.
And I had blood all over me. They wipe it off. I'm fine. I go do an interview. It had to be 45 minutes later. I come back. All right, let me go shower. So I'm in the shower, and my hair was longer at the time, and I'm washing my hair, and the water's just brown, and you can smell, and then you start to taste iron, and there's no adrenaline now. So now you're like, ugh.
And it's the fact that it's not your blood.
It's not my blood. It's somebody else's. So even if it was my blood, it would still be like, ugh. But it's somebody else's. I'm like dry heaving in the shower trying to get all the blood out. I mean, when your adrenaline's up, you don't feel stuff. I mean, Jimmy's last fight with his calf, he walked out of the cage. He had a little cut, 3 stitches. So it had to take like 6 minutes. The doctor, boom, boom, boom. And then you feel
He couldn't get up.
He couldn't get up. I felt that and walking back, and then I'm like, oh man, that was a good low kick. That was better than I thought.
My last fight, I ate a couple of low kicks, and then finally went into the back, came out, drove home, and it was that's the worst part. It's when you drive somewhere and then you try to get out of the car.
You're just sitting.
It's like, oh, like for a couple of days I had to pick my leg up like this to put it into the car.
Those kicks were better than I thought. Yeah.
The worst though, I would rather that though than like the shin. Like that hurts.
Shin to shin?
No, like the muscle around your shin, like when you're checking and you're throwing low kicks.
Oh, your calf.
Yeah.
The calf. Yeah.
Like that fight I had at ECF where there was almost a brawl after. I wonder who started that.
That was a good story.
We were checking low kicks and throwing low kicks back and forth and stuff like that. Didn't feel it in the fight, but then sure enough, like when we went out to eat, I was limping everywhere and I just couldn't.
Same thing, yeah. It hits you later on. You don't feel it in the fight. So your prediction for Julio's fight is?
Julio, either late knockout or decision.
And then the Sterling Yan fight is?
Same thing, late knockout or TKO.
Or TKO for?
Yan.
Late knockout or TKO or decision? Or you think Jan's going to finish him?
I'm sorry. Late TKO or decision.
Late TKO or decision. I'm going to go with Sterling.
Really?
Obviously, I'm going with Julio. I'm going to go with Sterling.
Decision or?
Decision. I say he brings the pace and he wins 3 out of 5 rounds. I say he wins 3 out of 5. He's going to come in shape for this fight. There's been a lot of shit talking. A full year of build-up, right? Because it's been over a year.
Oh, yeah.
Because he had neck surgery.
Well, that's another thing you got to think about is his neck.
Jan doesn't have his cornermen with him.
I don't think Jan needs it.
I don't think Jan needs it.
It might be better. He might not throw an illegal strike this time. Remember his corner? His corner
yelled, yeah. But come on, man. You got to know as a fighter. You know.
Oh, 100%.
There's certain things you know you can and you can't do. Like if somebody's in on a double and you're elbowing this way or you're hammer fisting and they're like, watch the back of the head, that's different.
Especially at that level.
Right, like that level. But you know if somebody's a down opponent or not. Well, it's not like he just came from Pride or fighting in Japan where the rules are different. He's been in the UFC for a bunch of fights. He knows he can't throw.
Well, like even me, like my amateur fights, I know I can't punch to the face of the ground. Like even my last fight when I dropped the guy, I was gonna go punch him and I knew I had to wait for him to get up before I could throw another strike.
Right.
Or like even like when you're wrestling and stuff like that, right? Like not to grab the cage and stuff like that. Like not to put your fingers in.
Sometimes that just happens, don't you?
Yeah, but there's some people that just.
Oh, there's some people that do it bad.
You
mean like your opponent who hooked his arm over the edge of the cage?
How great of a slam would that have been if he didn't hold the cage.
You kind of just threw him afterwards anyway. When the ref was like,
Oh, I was
you're
pissed.
like, get off.
I was pissed.
Kind of threw him down. That was good. I like that you threw him. So I think we covered a lot of good stuff. You know, our students and our viewers are going to get to know you a little bit more as a fighter. They got to see the video of Mimi, who's your number one fan, number one coach. Does better than me. What did she say? Distract him?
Distract him. Knock him down. That's great advice.
Knock him down. I couldn't have said it, but why didn't I think of it? In the corner, why didn't I think of that? Matter of fact, your next fight, I'm going to be like, knock him down. I'm not going to do that because you'll probably laugh in the middle of the fight.
Well, you're the only one that I hear anyways.
Yeah. Oh, I'm loud. It's the loud and the
Everyone
raspiness.
says it. It's the distinct voice.
It's a distinct voice. All right, guys. I think we're gonna cut it there. You know, thanks for checking us out. We're gonna be doing these, you know, once a month. So make sure you guys check the like button. I fucked that up. There goes one take, Lou. All right, guys. I think we're gonna cut it there. Thanks for checking us out. We're gonna be doing these podcasts about once a month. So make sure you guys subscribe, click that like button, and we'll see you next time.